Hello friends, today we have an amazing video for you. We have not one, but two New England IPAs to share with you. So let's get into it. So today we're kicking off a fun new series called Splitsies. Splitsies is going to be me brewing one big batch of beer and then splitting it into two separate fermenters, and then either trying new yeast, trying new hops, hop schedule, and all sorts of fun scientific things that we could get into. So today I'm introducing a Galaxy versus Nectaron split batch, where we're going to compare the old banger hop behemoth hailing from Australia versus the new kid on the block, which is Nectaron. So I'm curious how it performs one against another. So here's the beer that I made for this batch. I used my classic New England IPA recipe with 15% spelt and 10% malted oats. I went with Chicago water, pretty classic soft water. Calcium chloride was all the way up to 173 ppm. Sulfate was up to 76. And then the mash pH was about 5.3. So nothing out of the usual here. For the base, I went with classic Pilsner malt, which was about 15.75 pounds at Weyermann Barke Pils, 75% of the grist, 3.125 pounds Weyermann Spelt, that's 15% of the grist, 2.125 pounds malted oats, and that's about 10% of the grist. For hops, there were 0 boil additions, but at the end of the boil, I did add 4 milliliters lactic acid before Whirlpool to bring the pH close to 5.0. I whirlpooled all the hops at 170 degrees Fahrenheit for 30 minutes, and the hops for this were 4 ounces of CTZ, 2 ounces of Galaxy, 2 ounces of Nectaron, and 10 grams of Yakima Valley hops Citra Incognito. And this was for about a 6-gallon batch. Yeah, that's quite a bit of hops for a 6-gallon batch, but these beers have been coming out great in my opinion, so I'm gonna keep rolling with the punches here. And so this is where similarities end, and these two beers were split into 2 different kegs to ferment with Verdant IPA. Beer number 1, this was the Galaxy beer. The first dry hop was at the last point of fermentation, added 1 ounce CTZ Lupomax and 2 ounces Galaxy. I also added 1 drop ALDC, which is going to be a separate video, but basically it was there to prevent hop creep and any sort of diacetyl popping up from the dry hop. I also added a 1/4 crushed Campton tablet, which is potassium metabisulfite, to prevent any possible oxidation. The same dry hop schedule was there for Nectaron. So instead of the 2 ounces of Galaxy, I used 2 ounces of Nectaron, ALDC, Campton, CTZ. For the second dry hop, I crashed the beer 2 days after the first dry hop to 55 degrees Fahrenheit, and then I added the hops. The Galaxy batch received 3 ounces of Galaxy, and it was left for 1 day before cold crashing. Nectaron, same thing. 3 ounces Nectaron, 1 day before crashing. After the second dry hop, these beers were cold crashed and then transferred to keg immediately. Right now, this is about a week later, and we're tasting these fresh, so let's get into this. All right, so here we have them. Here we have the Galaxy batch with a skull on it. It says Galaxy there in the back. Nectaron is unmarked, but we know that's the other one. So color looks pretty similar, although they're starting to look a little bit oxidized, which I'm kind of disappointed in. Maybe there's a little hiccup in the process somewhere, or maybe it's the malted oats imparting the darkness, but I did use Pilsner malt, so they should have been pretty light, but we'll see how they taste. So let's go in for the aroma. So here we have the Galaxy. Smells good. Smells really good. This smells like overripe fruit, a kind of passion fruity note. Look at that classic Galaxy aroma. I could say that. Nice. Okay, but what does Nectaron smell like? Ooh. Nectaron smells like green fruit, like unripe peach maybe, or like cantaloupe. The green cantaloupe. That's good. I gotta say, Nectaron popped right out of the bag. As soon as you open that bag, which my friend was kind enough to get for me before it was available online, and that crazy stone fruit smell was just popping right out of there as soon as you open the bag. I don't know if I've ever had that with any other hop. But let's taste the Galaxy first and see where we're at. Wow, okay, so pretty big, like overripe pineapple and overripe passion fruit mango kind of thing going on. tropical fruit salad. This is good beer. This is damn good beer. Okay. So Galaxy, so far, very impressive. Okay, so let's try the Nectaron. Galaxy, pretty damn good. Wow, that fruit is pretty intense. Get lots of peach on the aroma still. Okay, perceptibly, this tastes much sweeter even though the final gravity is the same. Yeah, heavy peach. Pretty heavy peach and cantaloupe. Although I don't know if it's any more explosive than the Galaxy. Like the aroma out of the bag was so intense that it felt like it would have jumped as much out of the glass, but it's about the same as the Galaxy. It's about the same amount of intensity, which is great. It's just still a very good beer. Ooh, the aroma. I'm getting some cantaloupe maybe from the Citra Incognito on here. I'm getting a little bit from both of these, so that would be the common denominator. And also the CTZ that I've added, Lupomax, they may be the common denominator here too. Let's cleanse the palate a little bit. I'm having 2 beers and a water. There's a lot of liquid. A lot of liquid going on. Back to the Galaxy. Yeah, so peach, candied peach, overripe passion fruit, overripe pineapple is what I get on the Galaxy. No hop burn on this at all, which is amazing. I've gotten a lot of that with Galaxy personally. No hop burn on this one. Back to the Nectaron batch. What do we think? Pretty heavy on stone fruit. Honestly, reminds me of like a Citra. I do get some of that New Zealand diesel in here, just kind of similar to like Motueka or Nelson, but it's very subtle and it's mostly fruity. It's akin to like a Citra from New Zealand. So I really like this batch. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna do what you're all eager to see here, which is mix the two. Let's do this. Let's see what they taste like together. A nice, healthy pour. I really shouldn't have poured full glasses of these. We really should have gone with like little tasters because now I have 2 full drinks. So it's not even 5 o'clock. But okay, let's see what's going on here. Just explosion of aromas here. I gotta admit, best of both worlds. I mean, I would totally brew this beer again. The CTZ with Galaxy and CTZ with Nectaron, such a good combo. I mean, throw some Citra Incognito in there and the Whirlpool. Amazing beer. Like, both of these qualify for me for at least 30-point beers in competition. So I think these are both winners. I do like the Galaxy, but I think it's getting a little bit of an oniony flavor to it the more you drink it, which is a little bit odd. Nectaron is bright and fruity and citrusy and peachy, which I love. So even though Galaxy is a little bit more explosive, I think I prefer Nectaron going forward. If you just mix that with a bit of Nelson, with a bit of Motueka, Citra, whatever, you're gonna have yourself a fantastic beer on hand. And Galaxy overall is a bit of a lottery. I've heard this from a few pro brewers, home brewers alike, and my last batch, honestly, of Galaxy was very hop burny for about 2 months. I couldn't drink the beer because even though I fermented the beer out before adding Galaxy, I added it on the cold side to try to avoid as much hop burn as I could because of my previous experiences with Galaxy. It still had so much hop burn that it was just unbearable. Thankfully, Yakima Valley Hops sent me another batch, and this is it. It tastes way better, no hop burn, but I do get a little bit of onion flavor on this, so I don't know if Galaxy's a thing for me. I would so much rather brew with Nectaron or Nelson, you know, Citra, what other, millions of other banger hops that are amazing. So that's just my takeaway from here. I did like the base of this beer and it turned out amazing. So 10 out of 10, we'll be brewing this again. We'll be sharing this with some friends. So if you'd like to try some of this, subscribe on Patreon. We have some giveaways there. So definitely take advantage of that. I'll see you next time. Cheers.